Coach, let's start with the obvious question. 22 years at Princeton, 14 Ivy League titles, 10 NCAA tournament appearances, 8 championship games, 6 NCAA championships. I think it's fair to say you could have probably stayed there as long as you wanted. Why now for the change?
Well, I think because of all those reasons. You know, I think we were very entrenched in Princeton and very excited about what we were doing there. But a couple of things, you know, when I came to Princeton 22 years ago, the program was in rough shape. And I always said, if I leave, I'm going to go to some place that that's going to make me and my wife happy, and some place that that is going to be another challenge, another building project. But more importantly, we always said we'd leave the program we were leaving in good shape, and we think we've done that. For years, my wife and I did our so-called honeymoon 4 months later out in Aspen, and we've always enjoyed this area. And then when my son Trevor, graduated from Princeton in 2001, came out here to coach here at DU for a year and hasn't come home since. So there's obviously a lot going on out here that we're intrigued by. I've been offered a lot of jobs over the 22 years, and I'm humbled by that. But when I got out here, I think the thing that was most refreshing is that I wasn't looking for a job. And then everything that came up, everything that I asked Peg, every person I met, just kept saying to ourselves, well, we were going to be here eventually. Why not do it when somebody's going to pay you for another 10 or 12 years? And hopefully we can take the program to the next level over the course of those years.
Occupationally speaking, there's a challenge here, obviously, and I'm sure that appeals to you. But you mentioned your son Trevor, but other family considerations too? You kind of got a whole lot of clan around here, don't you?
Well, it's crazy what's gone on. My son Brendan, who's the second oldest behind Trevor, he works for Nike out in Portland, Oregon. And then my youngest daughter, Brian, she was coaching women's lacrosse out at Berkeley, and we thought this move would bring us closer, but we've literally passed each other on I-70. She just got named the head lacrosse coach at Lebanon Valley, which is a small Division III school out in Pennsylvania. So my oldest daughter, Courtney, coaches basketball and teaches in a little private school in Princeton or in Princeton area. And so we move closer to the boys, further from the girls, and it's been vice versa. So I don't know if that's good news or bad news for them, but somebody's getting the good and somebody's getting the bad. And but we're real excited. I mean, Trevor and I for years have really missed each other, and now a chance to coach with each other. Trevor, Brendan, and I won a national championship together in 2001 with those two as players. And I don't think there'll ever be a better day than that, but certainly coaching with him and having him around again, or having me around him, is really exciting.
Let's talk specifically about the University of Denver and the opportunity it presents. What about this program makes it such a great opportunity?
Well, first of all, what Jamie Monroe has done with this program to get it from the ground floor to where it is right now makes it coming in a little bit less of a challenge, because it's pretty much the players are in place. We have our ideas about how we're going to change that a little bit, but what Jamie's done has been really good. We've kept Matt Brown on for a continuity, and Matt's done a fantastic job just carrying this program from the end of the last regime to the beginning of the new one, and we're thankful Matt's going to stay with us. But the challenges come, it's kind of threefold. Number one, to get DU to a Final Four, to get us to win ECAC championships of all godforsaken things, but to really get the program on the map, but also to help this lacrosse growth and help the westward movement and allow DU to be the launching pad for that. That's the thing that's really got me intrigued. But we've got to get this job done first. We're not going to worry about California until we're settled in and we're sure that we've got this program running the way we want to, because when we do, it'll all take off. It's really going to get going. The biggest challenge I've found in the month or so that I've been on the job is scheduling. That's the big thing. And Peg and all the people here Dan Van Akron have been phenomenal, telling me that they know it's going to take a couple of years of putting some assets behind that, taking a few extra trips, and then by then, as we build the program and we become a really good team, now those teams from the East are going to want to come out here and play us because we're a good team, and not just because it's some unique trip out to the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the follow-up questions I had. one of the reasons I think that you're sitting here today is that connection to the East Coast, that lack of a bad phrase here, that good old boy network, where you have those connections, where a Syracuse, a Johns Hopkins, some of those teams will come this way, not just because it's Denver, but because maybe Bill Tierney has asked them to do that. Is that a fair?
I hope so. I really do. You know, we'll see how friendly my friends are in the next couple of years. You know, there may be we may have to make some steps. We may have to go out. I'm talking right now to North Carolina about a two-in-one deal. You know, we may have to travel a little bit more than they, and hence we're going to have to. Some people who have talked out here about being on board and being supporters, we're going to challenge them, and we're going to make sure that they're supporters, because our biggest nut to crack as financially goes is going to be this travel. The school is behind us 100%. We've got the full allotment of scholarships. We've got this beautiful Barton Stadium out here. We've got all the support in the world that we need from the Broncos organization. If we need to play some games out in Invesco, we're going to be in good shape. The key for us is to make sure that we become a mainstream team, even though we're a couple thousand miles away. The move to the ECAC, interestingly enough, is really helping us with that, because that means that Hobart, Loyola, and Fairfield have to come at least once every 2 years. And with the with the tournament that we run every year here, that's 2 more teams that are going to come. With Air Force back and forth, you know, you've got potential for 6 or 7 home games, no matter what else happens, and that's going to be really important.
Let's talk about personnel. I mean, you get what you get when you take over a new program. You've had a chance at least to review the personnel you have. How do you feel about that, and what's your overall feel about what's left behind here?
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled that Dylan Roy has decided to stay with us here at DU and finish his program. Dylan's going to be our captain, no doubt, and he is a phenomenal young man and going to be a phenomenal leader for our program. Along with Dylan, there's a group of people who feel like this can be a great program. Talent-wise, it's certainly enough talent in here to be pretty good right now, and I mean that by challenging for that ECAC title. That's our first goal, and it's going to be. So the cupboard's far from bare. There's 5 goalies. We're going to find one out of that group. There's a bunch of defensemen. We're bringing in some people right now. There's 17 freshmen coming in, 4 or 5 transfers. We've got some kids who want to come back that we're talking to. We've lost some players, but I think we've gained in the locker room. And I think that was part of the job, is to make sure that you never put chemistry or any of that stuff behind talent. And Skip Prosser, the former basketball coach at Wake Forest, who just passed away unfortunately last year. I knew Skip when he was at Loyola College, and Skip had a saying. He said, "Bill," he goes, "you never take a player whose problems are bigger than his potential. But if their potential is bigger than their problems, you work with them." And we know we've got some issues here right now that we're coming into, and we're going to get them straightened out if we haven't already. Again, Coach Torpy and Coach Brown have done a great job of maintaining what was here. Every kid who left the team is on their own that decided to leave the program. The 8 young men who decided to leave the program for whatever reason on their own are back, and we're happy about that. I have a short memory about that. For whatever reason they had to leave the team, I think in some cases was very valid. The guys who were thrown off the team, that's a whole different issue. We're dealing individually with that. But I think we're in good shape right now. We've got 17 young men coming in here who know nothing of that and are really excited. As I told one of the returning players last week, when he told me how happy he is that I'm here and how he's excited about how the program's going to be in a new direction, what I said to him is, be careful what you ask for, and so we're excited about it all. But we know there's enough talent here. We just got to change the culture. Usually you change 10 or 11 kids' culture by coming from high school to college. Now we're going to change 40 of them in a big hurry, and I think it's going to be really good.